Hey everybody, so welcome back to our page. So today we're doing a little bit of bulk cooking, and today is a very unusual day because of Hurricane Matthew. Mom is off work today. I've been off work actually all week, and today was an optional work day. The kids are out. We're trying to make sure that the roads are safe to get kids to and from school via the bus. So we may have a full day tomorrow. I'm not sure if we're going to have it or not. But right now, since I'm home, the kids and I are doing some bulk cooking. So I'm going to turn my camera around and let you see what the kids are doing. And then I'll show you what mom. So we watch a lady on YouTube. Her name is Do It On a Dime. Well, her channel is Do It On a Dime. Her name is Catherine. And she had a video on doing Uncrustables or DIY Uncrustables. So the kids have been working. Jackson actually cleaned up his workspace because he is done. He's working on his cleaning up. And sister is actually doing the last of her Uncrustables. And this is what they have come up with. So they're going to freeze these for 2 hours, and then they're going to go in the freezer. Individual packed in the freezer. So, you know, it's always good to give your kids skills that they might not necessarily get on their own. And so now they are actually helping with some of the bulk cooking. So I'm going to scan back over to this side of the room, and I'm actually doing bulk pancakes because I got pancake mix last week at Harris Teeter. And so in this is just buttermilk pancakes, and in here I have added in cranberries. So that's going to be one freezer meal along with the Uncrustables. Is going to be something else that we're doing. So I got that going. I went to my nutritionist yesterday, and we talked about one of my goals is to meal prep and meal plan ahead. So I went to Harris Teeter this morning because it is Wednesday and I shop on Wednesday. And I was in the chicken section. I had seen chicken thighs at Piggly Wiggly, and they were like $3 and something a pack. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go grab some of these. But I was in Harris Teeter this morning, and they actually had a pack that were marked down, and it was only $5.87 for a big pack of chicken thighs. They're bone out, so fillets, no bone. I did clean the fat off, the extra fat, and I seasoned them with salt, black pepper, a little bit of Italian herb, and some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And I actually got a pack of the wingettes too. Well, I got 2 packs of those, because they were like $2 and then $1 and something a pack. So I got 2 packs of the drumettes and then a long family pack of the chicken thighs. I normally don't eat chicken thighs, but they were inexpensive. So I've cut up an onion a piece in each pan. I'm going to do 2 pans, and this should hopefully get me through the weekend. And I have also that was a large green bell pepper that I just divided between the 2 pans. So this is going into the oven. Our oven is preheating at 400 degrees. And I'm putting this in so that I can go ahead and get started on the other stuff that I'm cooking today. Gotta have the coffee, y'all, just saying. So I do have my pan on. It is getting warm now, and that's going to be again for my cranberry pancakes. I was going to do cranberry chocolate chip pancakes, but some people ate all of the chocolate chips. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I love you. My son joined in. Yes, and no, you can't have any of these. So I'm just adding in, hey, bud, adding in a little bit more of the cranberries, because I do like to have a bit of cranberry in every bite. And then over here on the other side, I'm going to show you the last thing that I'm doing to kind of go with my chicken is I'm going to do some cabbage wedges wrapped in bacon. So I got some Smithfield thick cut bacon earlier at Harris Teeter, and I'm going to take the cabbage wedges, and this is 2 heads of cabbage that I actually cored these out because I'm not doing steaks today. Let me get that back on my heat there. And what I'm going to do is salt and black pepper. I'm going to season it with garlic powder because I don't use garlic salt, and maybe some Italian herb. And then I'm going to take a cabbage wedge. I'm going to wrap it in bacon, lay it on my plate, and then I'm going to bake it for about 35 minutes in the oven. And they should be delicious. Now, I made cabbage steaks the other day without bacon. If you're joining me with bulk cooking today, the kids have done their Uncrustables. Mom is about to do a whole batch of cranberry pancakes. And then we're actually going to finish up. Take that, sister. Thank you. I've got my chicken thighs going in the oven. If you can see that, with just some onions and some green bell pepper, little Italian herb seasoning, and extra virgin olive oil. And those are chicken thighs, bone out chicken thighs or chicken thigh fillets. So I've got those going. And then I'm actually going to put together the cabbage wedge. And cabbage probably has about 25 calories, maybe less than 25 calories. So I'm going to do the cabbage wedge, and I'm going to wrap that in some thick sliced bacon. And so I'm getting ready to saute that up, but I meant to get my cabbages all seasoned up, but I wanted to put some pancakes in while my pan was getting hot. And prayerfully, my helper will come and take over the camera, so I'll have an extra free hand. So the reason I do bulk cooking is sometimes our time runs extremely short, and I want to make sure that the kids have things that they can actually have to eat. So my oil is not quite hot enough. It will be in a second. But what I'm going to do now, since my helper did come to help me, is I am going to have Jackson, can you put some foil on here, on that tin for Mom? And I'm just going to take a few of my cabbage wedges here. And I actually took the entire cabbage, I cored it out, because I'm doing wedges and not steaks. If you want to do cabbage steaks, then you just cut on top of the cabbage head about 1 inch apart, and you leave the core in. It helps you to be able to transfer it easily on and off of your plate. So I'm just going to take these cabbage wedges and lay them in a bowl. This is just easier for me. This is not what you have to do. And notice they're only about 1 inch thick as well. And then I'm going to season these up so that they do have some seasoning on them. Now, I don't do a lot of heavy salt, but I do need to have some type of seasoning. And then we're going to wrap it in bacon, and it's going to be delish. And hopefully, because I'm doing 2 heads, this will last me a couple of days. And I try to do this for Mom, but somehow my kids always end up eating half of my food. And I can never figure out why I'm still fat, but whatever, you know. I should only get half the calories if they eat half my stuff. I just think that's right. But whatever, you know, they didn't ask me, so. I hope you're well today. I hope your area is recovering from the storm. If you are still in need of help, I do pray that the help is on the way. I know that of my ladies group, we do a ladies Bible study on Tuesday nights via teleconference. And some of us, we have adopted an area, and we're going to be sending some donations to them. So if you're looking for a place to donate, and what's our food is going to, I mean, our money is going to go to hot meals. We have a lady that's in a community specific, and she's going to be cooking hot meals out of her home because she actually has power in her neighborhood, and for some of the people who do not. So I am liberally salting that, but I'm going to move that around a little bit. So it may seem a little hand heavy, but trust me. And then this is garlic powder. So I'm doing a little bit of garlic powder. A lot of bit of garlic powder, but I'm going to move that around. So again, don't think it's being overly seasoned, because it's really not. This is a little cracked black pepper. And my bowl is small, so that does not help me out a lot, because I have a smaller bowl. Oh, thank you. My helper actually put some foil on my tray. Whenever you're doing baked cabbage or baked wedges or baked steaks, you want to make sure that you foil your pan, because if not, the cleanup is a little bit more than what you probably want to go through. I'm going to do a little bit of onion powder as well. So garlic powder, onion powder, cracked black pepper, and salt. And again, that's a liberal seasoning, because right now the only thing that's getting seasoned is what's on top. And I'm going to do a little bit of a steak rub on there as well. It's just seasoning, so you want to make sure that your cabbage is seasoned real well, because when you cook it the normal way, you either have some type of a smoked meat, or, you know, a fresh pork meat or something like that. So you do want to make sure that you get all the sides seasoned well. And because you're doing it, these wedges, make sure it doesn't kind of fall apart on you, because it will. So I'm going to actually ask Alana to bring over my pan, and I'm going to show you one of these put together. I'm also going to be doing a honey balsamic reduction glaze. So if you'll see over here, I've got honey infused balsamic vinegar, and then I actually do have some honey. Sit it right there, sister, right there. Yep, there we go. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. Missed a step, missed a step. Take the bacon back off. Take the bacon back off, sister. I didn't put any olive oil on that. Hold on one second. And the bacon will make a little oil on it as well, but I do want to just put a little bit of EVOO on there. And this was on sale. This big old bottle, it's 24 ounces, was on sale this morning for $2.99. It was like a buy one, get one free. Probably not one of those brands that sells a lot, so it was on sale. So right now, I'm just going to come over to my stove and get a few more of the pancakes going. When you're bulk cooking, you actually need both hands, so I'm thankful that I have a helper this morning. And we're using cooking today as home ec hours, so the kids will get home ec hours for helping with the meals. You know, if you know or follow us, I do homeschool, and so they normally have homeschool lessons, and we'll probably start a little bit after lunch, because this will probably take me quite a little bit of time to get everything kind of squared away. And after lunch, we'll get started on their lessons. And we'll do lessons until about 3:45 because they have karate this afternoon. So anyway, going back over to my wedges, I'm going to just make sure I have a liberal amount of olive oil on there. And then I'm going to pull out my steak. And I want to make sure that there's oil so it doesn't stick to the pan. And then I'm going to take my piece of bacon. And I am going to wrap it around my wedge. Now I made these the other day without bacon, and they were delish. But I'm going to also try it with the bacon. Somebody shared a recipe with me that had bacon on it, and I was like, oh, gonna have to try that. Gonna have to try it. And so here's another wedge, and this goes pretty quickly once you've kind of got everything all seasoned up. And you just wrap it. I'm going a little bit low carb if I can, and I know I'm cooking pancakes, but those are for the kids, not necessarily for mom. So I am trying to do the low carb as much as possible. And so I have this, and I'm going to just wrap this bacon around. I'm probably going to do just a half of that one because that is a smaller wedge than normal. So I'm going to throw that in. And then I'm going to take a couple pieces that kind of fell apart a little. And I'll take this other bacon wedge and just kind of wrap that around. You don't want to get rid of any of your bacon pieces, but it is difficult to keep it together when you pull the cores out. So that's the only challenge, is trying to keep it together once the cores have come out. And so what we normally do is leave the core in. And we make the cabbage steaks, which are a little bit more hearty because you can actually move it around by default of leaving the cabbage core in. So again, I'm just going to wrap this around, and that's a little bit more than what I need. So I'm going to cut that off, lay it on my tray, and I am going to come over and flip my pancakes again. Turn my heat down just a hair because you don't want this to burn if you can at all help it. And bulk cooking is not supposed to be about burning up your food. It's just about managing the time between different items. There we go. These pancakes are a little bit thicker than what I would like. I may add a little water to the batter. But anyway, they're hearty, and so it will give my kids a good, wholesome meal, and maybe they'll only need a couple and not need, 3 or 4 or 5 of those. So I'm going to pull some of these out. Bubby, if you can work on the grapes, washing the grapes. So I went to the grocery store this morning, and I was able to find some fresh fruit. We got apples, and I got grapes for $1.79. So I am going to add just a hint more oil there. Takes a little bit of time, actually, too, to kind of get your heat adjusted right, because you don't want it. I'm going to add just a little more water to this because I think it's a little bit thicker than I would like. Thank you, buddy. And it's just a little thicker than what I would like, so I'm going to add in a little water. Kind of loosen up that batter just a smidge. There we go. And so I was meeting with my nutritionist yesterday, and one of my goals, again, is to do some make-ahead meals. And I just started doing what's called kids commissions at my house with my kids, which means they get paid a specific amount of commissions. It's a part of the Dave Ramsey Financial Peace Junior. And they actually, you know, the premise is they have to work for their pay. And I believe that to a certain extent. There are things that they have to do just normally by living in this house, because the light is paid, the rent is, the mortgage is paid, everything that they need is paid. But I do believe that I should teach them about saving and about spending and about giving. So last week was the first week we actually paid out commissions, and the kids made $6 a piece, and they put a specific amount into giving, so they already have their tithe and envelopes already ready. They'll get commissions on Sunday, so they'll be able to have additional tithe to go into their giving envelopes on Sunday. So every Sunday they get paid commissions, they will have offering for church. They always have offering for church, but it's usually mommy's offering for church, and I think that they need to realize what it's like to give their own money. Now, when they get birthday money, they give tithe and offering. When they get any type of working money, they get tithe and offering. So that's just a strategy we're using here, and it's working well. I was getting dressed this morning, and I heard the dishes, and I was like, what in the world? Jackson was working on his commissions. He was working on getting his dishes done because he wanted to get his commission for the week. And I didn't even have to tell him to come in and do it. So a lot of people say, well, that they're required. And I used to be from the they're required group. Trust me. Yes, they are required, but I think at some point you have to give them an opportunity to earn. And as they learn earning on their own, it makes it easier when they grow up. They'll always know how to work. They actually did yard work out some this morning, so that was good. And they put that on their bonus. Jackson made my bed this morning for me, so that's going to be a bonus. He doesn't get a bonus for making his own bed, but he will get a bonus for making Mama's bed. So these are coming out nicely. I think I'm going to maybe leave the cores in next time because I really don't like the fact that it's breaking up more than what I would prefer. So when I did the steaks Monday night, the cabbage did not fall apart. And I was able, when I was eating them, just to pull the cores out without a problem. This tastes like butter, y'all. I mean, it really does. If you like cabbage, this is a really good meal. It's, like I said, low in calorie. And it tastes amazing because it cooks so tender. The cabbage just cooks so tenderly. Jack, I think I might need another pan, baby. You can find Mommy another pan if we have another one. And the bacon this time is actually going to help. No, I need a sheet. I'll take your cookie sheet off after we get those in the freezer. That's okay. Just put out some foil for me over there by the coffee pot, and I'll do the rest of these by the coffee pot. So I'm going to take the rest of my wedges. I'm actually going to cut. That's a good wedge right there. Some of these are a little bit thicker than I would like, so I'm going to cut them. The thinner you cut them, like an inch, they cook evenly. So too thick, they won't cook as evenly. And it'll all cook about the same amount of time. I do 35 to 40 minutes, typically 40 minutes. And I'm telling you, it just falls apart. And it's very easy to reheat. I simply just took a little bit of water and put it in the bottom of a frying pan and just let it heat that way. I didn't add any oil to the pan. You can also heat in the microwave, and it makes a good take-ahead meal or a lunch, or if you just worked out and you just need a couple calories or you just need to refuel, that also works out well. But what I was saying about the kids' commissions is if I have my lunches already cooked, then my kids will get commissions for packing my lunch, because sometimes I don't have a chance to pack it. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm always looking for different ideas for meals, and especially since I'm on this weight loss journey. I told the nutritionist yesterday that I have seen inches, but it's just the scale is not my friend this week, or it wasn't at least last week. So anywho, I'm going to keep plugging away at it, doing the best I can. I'm just going to add a little more seasoning to the fresh cabbage wedges that I just added in. So that's a little salt. That's a little bit of garlic powder. A little bit of the cracked black pepper. And then some olive oil on top. And I did 2 cabbages this time, which I normally have only been doing 1. And after this gets done, or just about done, I'm going to do a honey balsamic reduction and use that to drizzle over the cabbage. And it's going to be simply amazing. So I added in a little bit extra this time with the bacon. I did not do the bacon last time. So we'll see. This bacon is going to render in its own grease. And so that'll help also to season the cabbage. If you're working on weight loss, you know, this is kind of along the Atkins line, or the MetaFast is what I've been seeing. It's kind of the MetaFast line. And I'm not doing a program of any specific type other than I just want to cut out the carbs. I know for me, carbs is not my friend, and it tends to just bother my system. So I'm going to not do as many carbs as I possibly can get away with. That's my goal, is to just not do them if I don't have to. So this is a pretty large wedge, and I am going to take this full slice of bacon. And if you could see, right in here is the core of the cabbage. I'm not going to eat that part, but it is actually acting as a binding agent to hold this wedge together. So I'm going to leave it in this time instead of pulling it out. I pulled it out of the other ones, and what I'm noticing is it is falling apart just a little bit more than what I would like. So I'm going to actually keep it in this time. And then again, this is a little bit more than I would like, so I'm going to cut this piece off, and I'll save that. So I'm going to try to clean up a little bit, because I don't like to cook with a lot of stuff going on, and I realize that this side of my counter is just so small. The other side is so much bigger, and I cook from right to left. So it is a little bit inconvenient, but it's the best I can do for right now. I'm going to pull these pancakes out. And again, these will go in the freezer, so as soon as they come out and they've cooled, they go right to the freezer. My kids don't eat these right now and then one of these will probably be good enough for them, because they're pretty thick and they're pretty big. Sometimes if I do small pancakes, they will eat a couple of them at a time. And these are quick pull-aheads. How I do this, I'll show you this just in case you have kids and you're looking for something for them to take. We have these little Glad cups right here, and they have tops on them. So I'll put a little bit of syrup in here. We'll take one of the pancakes, slice it in what looks like little fingers, and then that'll go in a Ziploc bag, and they can kind of dip as they go in the car. And then everything, the Ziploc bag can be closed and tossed in the trash. So that just helps us, because we leave so early in the morning. They do get breakfast at the Sitters, but sometimes they just like to have something on the way. Jackson mostly. Sister just likes to sleep, which is fine. She's tired. So I'll make as many of these ahead as I can. I did get this box on coupons, so I only paid 97 cents for this entire box of Hungry Jack. And if you're having people over, like if you want to have folks to come over and do like a pancake bar, you could already make the batter and then just have little dishes of nuts, chocolate chips, cranberry, fresh fruit, just around, and then have people come in and put together their own pancake, and then you could fry them up. You could have a griddle here, you could have a waffle maker on the other side, you could have kind of a couple things going on. So we're going to take the Uncrustables that the kids already made, and I think they did a good job. You know, it's not costing me $5 or $6. It was a simple loaf of bread. My sister gave us a loaf of bread last night. We already had the peanut butter and jelly, and this is going to go in the freezer. So after we're done with our bulk cooking, we are going to do a freezer clean out just to kind of see what kind of meals we do have and that we can put together with what's already in our freezer. We're here in stirrings of a super double for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and I already have some great coupons that I just saved for those 3 days. If we have a super doubles, I will be at the grocery store at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning prior to me getting ready to go out there and be with Jesus. But I will make sure that I get, there's going to be salmon that'll be free. The ravioli that I did last week and the sauce will end up being $1 and something for both of those items together. So I'll get 2 sets of ravioli and sauce. There's just a lot of good coupons out there if we have a super double. So I'm not sure yet because it's not confirmed. We thought it was going to start today, and it did not. So we're thinking that they're looking at doing a blitz. And if they're going to do a blitz, it's only 3 days, but it's still better than not getting anything at all. So I'm going to move over some of my wedges that are done and finish the rest of these. So I'm simply just trying to make room because in my oven, I'll show you that if you're just joining me. In the oven, I have chicken thighs that are cooking. And what I did was I got a pack on the reduced rack this morning at Harris Teeter. And I also got some of the chicken wing drumettes. And what I did was cleaned them. Again, got all the fat, all the slime off. I seasoned them, salt, black pepper, a little Italian seasoning. I did an onion and some green bell pepper, and I did a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So that's going to be enough for a couple of meals. And I do have some sauce if I want to go with sauce. Not real sure. I'm trying to get as less calories as possible, but I'm trying to make sure that I eat. One of my issues is I don't eat. And so it's not that I eat more than I should, it's I don't eat, and then my body holds on to what I do eat because it's pretty much in starvation mode. And a lot of that is typically because I'm always on the go. I'm going somewhere, I'm doing something, and I just forget. This morning it was on my mind to eat breakfast before I left to go to the grocery store, and I just forgot. I got my coupons done. I made sure the kids had their chores while I was gone, and I just got out, and now it's almost 12, and I still haven't eaten, but I am going to try to get in lunch. So that's my goal. My goal is to get in a meal today. A meal today. And that's kind of, that's hard to share because I don't want anybody to think I have some type of an eating disorder. It's really not that. I just am so busy doing for other people that I necessarily don't do for myself. My kids always eat. There's always food in this house. But I'm always on to the next job. What else can I be doing? What else needs to be done? Is there a load of laundry? We got laundry going right now. Sister got some new dresses, and so she was doing some laundry, and it's just one of those things where I can always fit one more job or task in my life, because that's how I was raised. We were just farm girls, and you were working from the sun up to the sun down. And people say, well, you're not that old. That's okay. My grandparents were old when I went to live with them, and they were farm people. You worked all day. You worked all day. You fell into bed at night, and you got up and did it all over again the next day. So I just was raised like that, and I'm not making excuses because I do have goals this week. Well, for the next 3 weeks before I meet again with my nutritionist, I do have goals. My goal is to lose a couple pounds. I'm pushing for 2 pounds a week, so 6 pounds by the time I meet with her again, but also to eat and to pack my lunch. So if I do this ahead of time, and Jackson or sister, either one, get a commission for fixing my lunch, then prayerfully, I will get a couple meals in this week. I think next week I have lunch duty, and it's very difficult to eat on lunch duty week because we only have 20 minutes between for lunch, and then I'm in another building. So I have to go over to another building for duty, but I'm going to try to microwave my lunch ahead of time and just have it already ready. So when the bell rings, I can just go on, and then I'm good. So it may be sandwiches that week. I'm not sure, because that's easier. It doesn't need any microwaving. But my pancakes are doing well. My cabbage steaks are doing well. If you try any of this stuff, let us know how it turns out. I know a couple people said they tried the shrimp and it was really good, and the stuffed fish. So I'm glad that worked out. And you can always do fish or chicken. Keep it light, you know. Cook what your family likes. But mix it up a little bit. You know, who says you always have to cook cabbage the way you're normally used to doing it? I would prefer it that way, but nobody cooks cabbage like my grandmother, and my grandmother has been passed on for a long time, and I get real ill when people start trying to make it be like hers and it don't be like hers. So I don't even try some certain things. But this was really good, and it worked out real well for us. So I'm thinking that it's going to work out for me to go ahead and do them ahead. Cabbage was only 69 cents a pound when I went to the grocery store this morning, so that was good. So you see right here, I got a couple extra wedges that are already ready, and I'm running out of bacon. So I'm just going to do these wedges without bacon. The rest of the ones that don't have bacon on them, it's going to be okay. And then these cabbage leaves or pieces, I'm just going to put them together, and prayerfully they'll make one big cabbage wedge, and it'll be good. I actually was thinking about a lettuce wedge that they sell at I don't remember where they sell the lettuce wedge, Ruby Tuesdays or Applebee's or somewhere they do the lettuce wedge. And I thought, well, dang, that'd be a good idea to try, but I don't know if I want to put blue cheese on my cabbage. I'm going to have to find another thing. So I think the honey balsamic reduction will be good. I saw them do it on Brussels sprouts, so I'm going to try it on a cabbage because it's like a cousin. So anywho, we're going to keep bulk cooking. We're going to finish up, and we're going to come back and let you know what everything looked like and turned out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.